He gasped, "Oh, God, what was that?" His voice came out dry and scratchy. Every muscle ached, his throat felt like sandpaper. The infirmary around him was dimly lit, pale green curtains drawn between beds, the air heavy with antiseptic. All his energy had drained in an instant, and a sharp ringing pounded in his ears as if someone were hammering metal inside his skull. He blinked, but the ceiling swam in and out of focus, white and cold. "Where am I?" "Well, you're in the infirmary," came a familiar voice from nearby. Blake's silhouette hovered at the foot of his bed, one hand gripping the rail. He squinted into the blur. "Blake, is that you?" His voice cracked, but that tone, equal parts relief and disbelief, was unmistakable. Blake managed a raspy chuckle. "Glad you can still talk. What happened, man?" "They found you on the 8th floor of the library. I didn't even think you could get past the barrier." Fragments of memory drifted back, climbing dusty spiral stairs past shattered shelves, finding a strange orb of pale light hovering between the columns, then darkness. The crown. He ran a hand to his temple, nothing but skin and unruly hair, no metal against bone where the circlet should rest. Blake noticed the gesture. "Why are you patting your head like that? You okay? You didn't hit it too hard, did you?" He forced a faint smile. "Nah, just thought I'd lost something. Thanks for getting me out of there." "Don't thank me." Blake sank into the chair beside the bed. "The guards found you first. They said the barrier might have glitched. Lucky you didn't fry your brain." He gave a weak laugh. "Wouldn't be the first time. So any word from the higher-ups? What's next?" "No idea. Everything's gone quiet. There's a plague crawling up from the south and infighting in the north. Feels like the whole kingdom's eating itself." Fortis frowned, rubbing his temple. "What's actually happening in the north? They're not fighting against us, are they?" His voice was still hoarse, each word carefully formed as he tried to make sense of Blake's report. Blake scoffed. "The North won't help us fight, that's reason enough. They love talking about their immortal army, but it's all bark. If they joined us, the Drax would be dust by now." He sighed, pushing himself into a sitting position. The guard on duty popped in to check his vitals, jotted down notes, and moved on. Blake leaned in. "What else?" Blake's eyes brightened. "Oh right, the individual combat rank-ups start today. You were the last commander they processed. Now it's individual combat time. Everyone's hyped. Rumor says they're fast-tracking new ranks since the 7th went missing." After walking out of the infirmary, Fortis walked the wide stone hall toward the arcane theory lecture hall. The corridor was a ribbon of arches, banners of the kingdom's crest fluttering overhead. Each step with exhaustion, but as he passed other students, their greetings, some curious, some nervous, reminded him he was back in the fold. He touched his temple again, still half expecting to feel the cold metal of the crown. Instead, nothing but skin and hair. Strange, he could almost swear it was still there, dormant. By mid-morning, he settled into a bench among a semicircle of students facing Professor Ulm, a gaunt man with silvered hair and keen eyes. Scrolls, glowing runes, and flickers of energy hovered over the lectern. Today's topic: the dynamics of shield magic and its applications in siege combat. Professor Ulm droned on about shield theory, his monotone voice nearly hypnotic as he traced glowing diagrams in the air. The harmonic frequencies must align precisely with the caster's natural resonance to achieve maximum efficiency. Students scribbled notes, faces slack with boredom. Fortis rubbed the back of his neck. An odd sensation prickled there, not quite pain, more like information downloading directly into his brain. Cold data streamed through his consciousness. Shield efficiency increases 37% with subtle manipulation rather than brute force application. The hovering runes above Ulm's demonstration table deepened from pale azure to cobalt as Fortis stared at them, seeing patterns he'd never noticed before. "Any questions on channeling residual energy into the defensive matrix?" Ulm asked, scanning the half-asleep classroom. Fortis's hand rose almost involuntarily. Technical specifications flooded his mind. Inverse correlation, resonance, stability, caster fatigue, recommendation, sine wave fluctuation, lattice reinforcement. "Professor," Fortis said, his voice steadier than he felt, If we integrate a micro-oscillation in the secondary weave, wouldn't that bolster sustainability without raising mana expenditure? The classroom fell silent. Ulm's eyebrows shot up, his chalk suspended mid-equation. That's precisely correct, Fortis. He adjusted his spectacles. An excellent observation. Such a technique would significantly reduce collapse risk during prolonged combat scenarios. Whispers erupted around the room. Bookbrain finally paid off, muttered a student to Fortis's left, not quite under his breath. Another leaned across the aisle. All those nights in the library instead of training, guess he wasn't just hiding from combat practice after all. A third snorted, probably sleeps with tactical manuals under his pillow. From the back row came a sharp voice, cutting through the murmurs. "Nice of you to join us, Commander." Maren Holst leaned forward, dark eyes narrowed beneath copper-red bangs. "Did the library fumes add to your brilliance, or was it the concussion?" Several students snickered. Fortis's smile faltered. Before he could reply, a cold mechanical whisper slid into his thoughts. "Hostile intent detected. Subject Maren Holst. Age 120 years. Origin thermal manipulation. Combat rank F-class. Mana capacity 89% currently active. Threat assessment moderate." A translucent menu flickered in front of him like a video game interface. Apply Dola protocol to neutralize threat. Next to the text floated a preview image of Maren clutching her temples mid-grimace, his fist clenched reflexively as a strange tingling sensation, almost like pins and needles, danced across his fingertips. "What the—" Fortis blinked rapidly, wondering if he'd hit his head harder than he thought. "Awaiting command confirmation," chimed a pleasant voice that reminded him of the automated assistants in luxury carriages. He unclenched his hand, and the bizarre menu vanished like morning mist. Had he imagined the whole thing? He cleared his throat, offered Maren a polite nod, then turned back to Professor Ulm. "Thank you for the clarification, Professor," he said, the bizarre suggestion already fading from his thoughts. From the corner of his eye, he caught Blake giving him a puzzled look from 2 rows over, mouthing something that looked like, "What was that?" Fortis wondered the same thing. "Hey, you all right?" Blake appeared at his side as students filtered out. "You looked like you were about to hex Maren for a second there." "Did I?" Fortis rubbed his temple. "Just a headache." Blake studied him, frowning. "You're pale as parchment. And that thing with Professor Ulm, since when do you know advanced shield theory?" "I read," Fortis muttered, but even to his own ears the excuse sounded hollow. "That's it. We're going back to the infirmary." Blake gripped his elbow. "You shouldn't have left so soon." "I'm fine. You collapsed in a restricted section and woke up different." "That's not fine." After reluctantly agreeing, Fortis found himself walking beside Blake across a courtyard bathed in midday sun. Birds fluttered among ivy-clad columns. Laughter drifted from the training fields beyond. He slipped a hand beneath his uniform, pressing it to where the crown should be. Still nothing but flesh. Yet he could feel it was still there, dormant, watching. He squared his shoulders. "The healer said I was good to go," Fortis protested as they approached the infirmary wing. "I've known you for years," Blake countered. "Something's off with you." They retraced their steps down the corridor, past the stone gargoyles that marked the medical wing's entrance. Just as Fortis's fingers brushed the brass handle of the infirmary door, it slammed open from the inside with a bang. The door burst open with a crack that made Fortis jump. "Blake!" Kaiser stood in the doorway, his blonde hair disheveled as if he'd been running his hands through it for hours. His uniform jacket hung open, revealing the sweat-stained training shirt beneath. "Your match goes before mine. We can't start without you." His eyes flicked to Fortis, narrowing. "He looks fine to me." Fortis instinctively stepped back, shoulders hunching. The memory of Kaiser's humiliation in last week's duel was still fresh. No one had expected Fortis to win. Blake raised both hands placatingly. "Relax, man. I got this." The air in the room changed, growing heavy and electric. Kaiser's mana flared around him, golden light pulsing with barely contained violence. The stone floor beneath them trembled. With a flick of his wrist, Kaiser sent Blake flying backward, pinning him against the wall as if struck by an invisible meteor. Blake's teeth clenched as he struggled against the pressure. A mechanical voice appeared in Fortis's mind, as clear as if someone were speaking directly into his ear. Origin used detected, hostile intent detected. Subject Kaiser Rabrider, age 122 years. Origin kinesis. Combat rank D class. Mana capacity 95% currently active. Threat assessment moderate. Kaiser's presence filled every corner of the room, the air itself seeming to bend around him. His eyes, usually bright blue, had darkened to the color of storm clouds. "They're not dead," Kaiser said, his voice low and steady despite the power radiating from him. "The 7th Battalion, they're still out there." His fingers trembled slightly at his sides. "Everyone thinks they're gone, but I know how strong they are." He released Blake with a sudden gesture, who sagged against the wall, gasping. Kaiser turned and stalked out, the door rattling violently in its frame behind him. The silence that followed felt physical, pressing against Fortis's eardrums. Blake rubbed his chest, where the invisible force had held him, exchanging a look with Fortis, no words needed. Everyone knew Kaiser's obsession was personal. His mother had served with the 7th before transferring to the 4th. Fortis rubbed the back of his neck. "Go on," he said quietly. "He probably needs that fight more than you do. His parents served in the 7th. His mother was a lieutenant before transferring to the 4th, and his father—" He trailed off, suddenly aware of what he was saying. Blake's eyebrows shot up. "How did you know that?" "I'm not sure." Fortis blinked, equally surprised at his own words. Battalion assignments weren't common knowledge, especially not among students. "Must have overheard something somewhere." Blake exhaled slowly, nodded. "Yeah. I'd pray for whoever's unlucky enough to face him today." He straightened his uniform jacket. "You tricked him once with that strategy, but not sure anyone can do it twice." He paused at the door. "And try not to pass out again, all right? We've got enough trouble out there without worrying about you." "Aye, aye, Captain," he saluted half-heartedly as Blake left. The door closed with a hollow click. The room felt deathly still. Empty cots lined the walls,